Hello everybody, my name is Tristan Spooner and today I will be presenting remote learning and the equity issues that coincide on behalf of Casey, Hagen, Jordan, and myself. Due to COVID-19, remote learning has brought up a lot of ethical issues for many students. Having access to the internet at home, the home support that they need, access to computers, and everything that remote learning requires in order for kids to be engaged is the issue that we will be discussing. As we all know, equity issues are already prevalent in many schools today. COVID-19 added on another layer to that. School districts are just now realizing the dangers of the equity gap that are happening and that they're going to be growing exponentially. We chose to focus on the 3 barriers that have occurred since remote learning. Number 1 is personal needs being met. A lot of kids were used to social interactions all day long with their peers and their teachers at school. Since remote learning, now their parents sometimes have to work or don't have the time or are also working remotely from home, so they're not getting that social interaction that they're used to and getting to be around kids their age and interacting with them like they would during a normal class. Technology access. This one is probably the biggest one. Kids don't have access to the internet. They don't have computers. They also might not have computers that have cameras if these classes are meeting remotely via Zoom or other resources of that kind. And then lastly, the student engagement. Having these young kids, especially if you can think about kindergartners, first graders, engaging over the computer is so difficult. And that is definitely one of the probably hardest things since COVID-19 and remote learning has started. Who is most at risk during this remote learning time? We've added a video and a link to this forum that will show you firsthand what it's like for these students and these parents with kids with special needs and how navigating this is so difficult for them. Children obviously don't have access to internet, computers, like we've talked about. Parents at work, they're not there 24/7 to be able to support their kids and help them learn the things that they would be learning in school. Also, most parents are not teachers. And lastly, the English barrier. A lot of parents don't speak English. So if the teacher is giving them instructions to reiterate that to their kids, they don't speak English, how are they possibly going to do that? You'll see a list of all of the tools that are accessible for remote learning to engage students, such as Moodle, Blackboard, discussion boards, blogs, etc. But the equity issue in all of this still is accessibility, computers, internet. You can't get on any of those tools without the basic technology that it requires. Prior to COVID-19, a lot of students' main food source was given to them from their school. In efforts for equality, like Denver Public Schools, they're allowing meal pickups. They're also providing internet access at home and computers to their students in hopes to bridge that gap of equity. How could we create an environment where both the social, emotional, and academic needs of students could continue to be supported? Statistically speaking, students who come from households of an annual income of $25,000 or less were already at a disadvantage. Now, since remote learning, 59% of those students that come from those households of $25,000 or less have access to internet. That means that 41% of those students who already were at a disadvantage also do not have the basic necessities of remote learning. Several communities and schools are finding strategies to provide the same resources to all the kids, including internet access. Some communities have been able to provide wireless high-speed internet to everybody. Others are finding affordable ways. This is just a way that we're going to bridge the gap in remote learning. Here are a few more examples of strategies to support student equity and remote engagement. Questions. What are other possible ways we can foster social connection between students and continue to have important conversations regarding ethics and equality in the classroom? Tonin states that school staff must seek out the silent students, the ones who do not log into their remote classes, whose lives have layers of complexity and hardship that create learning obstacles. How can you approach seeking out a student that may face these issues, and what could you do to help them stay involved in a class? Discussing the implications and inequities during remote learning helps us all to understand and improve remote learning, education, and schooling.